When did you decide that music was going to be your thing? Was it just, did, mom just say, go your own way, or did you say, did they encourage you to get into music?
Well, growing up around music, it definitely in your blood, and I was always singing, and I got my first guitar when I was 13, and playing and writing and all that, and it was just a thing that you do, because you have to do it, what I mean, because you just grow up around it. But I did some other things like acting that were only mine, because you have to have something to yourself when you're growing up, and you don't want to just do the same exact thing your parents are doing, but I'd say 4 years ago I started writing more seriously and felt like I really had a record inside of me, and I made it independently, and I took my time with it and wrote all the songs, and so it was a very independent and personal project. And then I signed with Warner Brothers a few months ago, and they re-released it. So it's really cool to put all that time and effort into something, and then have it pay off and have a record label interested in it.
Now, are you influenced by the music that your mother has put out, or what's some of your musical influences? Is it a little bit different?
I'm influenced by the music I was raised on, for sure, and I love traditional country. I love George Jones. I love Ross Stanley's my favorite singer. He's a bluegrass singer. But I also discovered on my own Led Zeppelin and CCR and a lot of rock music, and I love Steve Earle and Dwight Yoakam in that era of country, and Emmylou Harris and all of that. So all of those things kind of come together and create this new sound that's very different from what my mom does. Although we do sound a little vocally similar, I have a very traditional country voice, but my music is very different from hers, so there's really no mistaking it.
Right.
Would you say your music's a little bit darker?
Definitely darker. I call it garage country because it's
love
got
that phrase.
it's got a very
it's
got a very raw sound, and like I said, the drums and the guitars, it sounds almost live, and it's very edgy, and there's no acoustic guitar, it's all electric, and so it is a darker sound, and it's very atmospheric in that way. And when you put in the record and play it, it's meant to be played through, you know what I mean? It's an album, and the first song has a really long guitar intro that kind of sets the tone for the whole thing. And I write from a very personal place, and I'm not always necessarily inspired to write when I'm feeling like happy, I write from an emotional place, so all the songs are very honest.
So growing up with your mom and getting to watch the whole fame thing firsthand, has that helped?
I think it informed my decisions. I decided to make my record independently, I think, because I grew up watching how labels can get involved in the creative process, which is something I really tried to avoid, and it kind of did it in a reverse way, where I made my record and then went to labels instead of the other way around. And so it definitely informed my decisions, but it's also a lot to live up to, and you've got people who are fans of what your parents do, and what you're doing is very different from that, so there's that aspect of it too, and it's hard to get out and just practice and not let anyone see or hear it, and so it's a lot to live up to, and I think it did it probably postponed me coming out in the music industry, but I think it's all right in the end, and now I'm here doing it. So.
How often were you on the road with mom?
I grew up homeschooled on the bus, so I was out a lot. Yeah.
How different is that? Do you regret it, or do you wish you had the?
I went to school a few years, so I got both experiences.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? But I homeschooled more than I went to regular school, and I loved it. I loved to read, and I liked music, and I liked all of that. So my mom was a really great teacher. I mean, when I went to school, I was a couple grades ahead because she was so good, and you're getting so much personal attention. And I did grow up around adults, and I do think it gave me a very different perspective. But I see it as a positive thing, So I'm happy.
Well, what song should a new Aubrie Sellers fan, or somebody who wants to become an Aubrie Sellers fan, download first when it comes to iTunes or the internet, wherever they get their music?
Sit Here and Cry is my first single, and I think it's a really good representation of the sound as a whole, and it's one of the earlier songs that I wrote, and it's a sarcastic breakup song, and I just made the video for it. It's going to be really fun, and so I think if you want a good intro to my sound and what I'm about, that's a good one to get. Sit Here and Cry.
Sarcastic breakup song.
Yeah.
Almost sounds like I'll think of a reason later. That's what it sounds
funny,
like to
right?
me. Yes, it's Aubrie Sellers. Great to have you,
Thank
and
you.
great to meet you finally for the very first time here with WXCY.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.